Hi everyone, it's really good to be with you. I'm going to read the Gospel for this Sunday, and to do that I'm going to light this candle to remind us that Jesus, the light of the world, is with us as we listen to him. Jesus Christ is the light of the world, a light no darkness can quench. Listen to the Gospel of Christ according to St. Mark. Glory to you, O Lord. Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain where they could be alone by themselves. And there in their presence Jesus was transfigured, and his clothes became dazzling white. Elijah appeared to them with Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. Then a cloud came, covering them in shadow, and there was a voice from the cloud that said, "This is my Son, my beloved. Listen to him." And then suddenly they looked around, and they saw no one with them anymore, only Jesus. And as they came down the mountain, Jesus warned them to tell no one what they had seen until he had risen again from the dead. And they observed his warning faithfully, though among themselves they discussed, "What does this mean?" This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Just before Jesus goes to Jerusalem and to suffer and to die on Good Friday, just before that, before any of that happens, he takes some of his closest friends and disciples, and he takes them up to the top of a mountain. And there on the top of that mountain, before any of the suffering happens, before any of that about Jesus being hated and being rejected, and before he's put on the cross, before any of that happens, on the top of the mountain, before Peter, James and John, Jesus is transfigured. And it says in the gospel story, he blazed like the sun. He blazed with light. And Peter, James and John, they had a glimpse of who Jesus truly is. Everyone thinks he's just like a carpenter, the son of Mary and Joseph. But Jesus is God's Son, and they see his true glory. This is Jesus, the true King of heaven and earth. And then there's Moses and Elijah, these two great people from the Old Testament, but they are listening to Jesus because everyone bows and everyone must listen to Jesus. And then there's a voice, and the voice says, "This is my Son, my beloved. Listen to him." So before Jesus suffers, before people hate him and reject him, his disciples see who he truly is, and then they hear this voice of love for Jesus. Whatever the world does to Jesus, there's this voice of love from the Father. "You are my Son, I love you." And then Jesus comes down the mountain, and he's with his disciples again, and then they walk all the way to Jesus' cross. Jesus is transfigured, he's changed, and they see his true glory. They see Jesus not just from the outside, but they see his inner glory. One day, God is going to show everyone else the glory that is inside you, and your face will shine like the sun. There's a goodness and there's a fire and a light that God has put in you, And one day we're all going to see it. The voice of love, the Father says, this is my Son, my beloved. Listen to him, listen to Jesus. There's lots of voices we do listen to, voices of fear, voices of worry, telling us all the things we need to be afraid of. There's voices telling us that we're no good. There's voices that tell us we look odd and weird. They're not God's voices. They're not the voice of Jesus. The voice of Jesus is a voice of love. The voice of Jesus says, you are my beloved child. You're the child I always wanted. And I love you. That's what the voice of Jesus in you sounds like. Listen to him. The voice of Jesus says, I want you to show the love I have for you. I want you to show that love to your family and to people who need you. That's the voice of Jesus. Listen to him. The voice of Jesus says, follow me. Lots of voices telling you to follow different ways. The voice of Jesus says, here's my hand. Follow me. Listen to the voice of Jesus.